Should I even be thinking about finance in my 20s? Your 20s are a great time to start getting your finances in order. Many people wait until their 30s and sometimes even longer to start thinking about their money, and they lose those valuable 10 years in your 20s when you can really make great progress. During your 20s, you may have some major milestones occur. You might start school, you might start working, you might spread your wings and move out on your own. You might even have the real big fun one of having bills in your name. You might get married, you could have the excitement of having children, and you might move to a new city. Now, during this exciting time, make sure to keep your finances in shape as they come along for the ride. First, get your savings and spending in order. Start with a budget. I like the 50-20-30 budget due to its simplicity and its ability to keep your money organized. And the way that it works is we take all of your after-tax income and we divide it into the following categories. 50% of that money is going to go into your needs category. And the needs category is going to be paying for things that are necessities, such as housing, rent, groceries, utilities, car payments, and transportation costs. Next, we're going to have 20% of the money go towards savings. In this category, you're going to have emergency savings, goal savings, college savings, definitely retirement savings, and it's also going to include any required debt payments that you have to make. The final 30% of money is going to go into the wants category. And this is the category where we have all the fun stuff, including dining out, entertainment such as shows and concerts, hobby expenses, media subscriptions, and anything else that doesn't fall into those first two categories. It's important to note that if your 50-20-30 budget is initially a bit out of sync, you're going to want to start cutting expenses from the wants category. This is considered our fun money, and we're going to need to be reducing that in order to make sure our 50% needs and our 20% savings are taken care of first. Now that your budget is complete, it's time to start building your emergency savings. Emergency savings are exactly as the name sounds. It is savings that you set aside in case of an emergency. And trust me, life has a way of throwing us financial emergencies when we least expect it. So how much money should we have in our emergency savings? The target amount of emergency savings is going to be based on your bare bones monthly expenses. And I'm not including fun money in this equation because emergencies such as job loss requires you to cut expenses as much as possible until you get back on your feet. Emergency savings should be between 3 to 6 months of your basic monthly expenses at a minimum. So for example, if your basic expenses are $2,000 per month, then you would want to work towards having $6,000 to $12,000 set aside in savings to use only when emergencies pop up. A good place to store your emergency savings is going to be in a high yield savings account. Now you might be thinking, it sounds like quite a daunting task to save 3 to 6 months of expenses. But remember, a lot of financial goals are achieved over a relatively long period of time. So start small. Maybe you're saving $25 to $50 from each paycheck, and you gradually work your way up to saving more over time. A good starting goal is to initially save $1,000. Now, the final part of saving and spending is debt management. And I want to emphasize that this is an area that should be managed sooner rather than later. Accumulating large amounts of debt without a plan or without the money to pay it down can make it harder to pursue financial goals in the future. A budget and emergency savings are a major priority when you're starting out because they help prevent you from taking on debt. When you have a plan for spending and saving with a budget, you can control where your money goes. If you take on debt without a plan, the companies that you owe money to control where your money goes. An emergency fund will also help because it prevents you from taking on debt in times of emergencies by providing you a source of money to cover expenses. Now, common types of debt are going to be credit cards, car loans, student loans. A newer form is the buy now, pay later feature, and then also home loans. Having said all this, this is not to say that all types of debt are bad, but the important takeaway is you want to have a plan for managing debt, and you also want to limit the amount that you have. So for example, paying off your credit card in full every month is a strategy for managing debt. Now that saving and spending has been discussed, we are going to address another key part of your finances, and that is insurance coverage. Insurance is designed to provide you money in case of an unexpected event. You pay money to the insurance company in the form of a premium, and the insurance company will provide specific coverage if an assured event happens to you. So common types of insurance for personal protection are medical, dental, life, and disability insurance. The first two are fairly common and you are likely familiar with them, whether you're currently covered by your parents' insurance or you've been offered insurance through your employer. Medical and dental insurance typically involve sharing costs with the insurance company. For example, when you see a doctor, you might have to pay a fee, also known as a copay. If you get an x-ray or some other type of service, you're likely going to have to pay for part of that cost too. The main thing to consider with medical and dental insurance is what is covered and what part you will have to pay. This way, when you show up to the doctor's office, you are not surprised by the fees that you have to pay. Now, another type of insurance is used to protect your personal assets, and this would be auto insurance, renter's insurance, and homeowner's insurance. These types of insurance work similar in the way that you share costs with the insurance company. Again, it's important to understand what your coverage is and also what is not covered. For expenses that are not covered, you will usually tap into your emergency savings to cover it. You can see right now, emergency savings can be very useful in the long run. Now let's get to the final piece of getting started with your personal finances in your 20s, and that is investing for the future. Your 20s are a great time to start saving for retirement. The longer amount of time that you save for retirement, the greater opportunity you have to pursue your goals. A great place to start saving and investing is going to be in your employer's retirement plan. This might be a 401k, a 457, or a 403b plan. Saving in your employer's retirement plan is very easy because you get immediate deductions from your paycheck, you get consistent savings each time you get paid, and as an added bonus, sometimes your employer will also contribute on your behalf. Now, if you don't have access to a retirement plan through your employer, that's okay. You can open up an individual retirement account, also known as an IRA, and you can start saving there. There are two types of IRA accounts. The first is a traditional IRA, and when you put money in, it is going to be a pre-tax contribution. The other type is a Roth IRA, and when you put money in, it is going to be after tax. Each type of account is going to have its own rules regarding contributions and when you can take the money out, but they both offer a great way to save for retirement in the long run. Now, one thing to keep in mind when you're saving for retirement is that this is for the long term. When you put money into a retirement account, think of it like putting food in the oven to cook. You're basically leaving the money in the account to cook and grow, and eventually it's going to be ready and cooked to perfection when you retire. So be sure to remember, money in a retirement account is used for later, while money in your checking and savings account can be used for right now. So let's do a quick review. In your 20s, you have the power to get a jump start on your finances. First, you have your saving and spending. Create your saving and spending plan with the 50-20-30 budget. Start building your emergency savings towards reaching that 3 to 6 months of expenses, and keep debt under control with a debt management plan and have debt awareness. Next, you have your insurance coverage. Personal protection insurance is going to be critical to help keep you healthy, and the two main types are going to be medical and dental. Asset protection insurance is critical to keeping your assets protected. And remember, most types of insurance are going to have shared costs with the insurance company, so know what your expenses are. And finally, invest for your future. Your employer's retirement plan is a great place to start saving and investing for retirement. You can also open an IRA or a Roth IRA to begin saving for retirement on your own. All money going into retirement accounts is for the long term. It's like your favorite dish going into the oven and cooking to perfection. So take action today. Work towards covering all of the items in this video and check in periodically, day to day, month to month, see how you're doing. As a reminder, this video is provided for general education purposes only. It is not intended to provide financial advice specific to your situation.